Hi, I'm Doug. Welcome back to part 2 of my pencil box series in using Fusion 360 for woodworking. If you haven't seen part 1, I'd encourage you to stop and go and watch that now, because this video will build on concepts I started in that video. You can find links to part 1 both in the cards and in the description below. In this video, we're going to cover modeling the thumb grip, adding the splines, and configuring the model so that we can slide the lid open and closed. Let's get started. Now we're about to create a second sketch. Let me name the first sketch from part 1, Box Base. All right, now we'll use the 2-point rectangle tool and choose this face of our box. Now before I continue, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the box, the bottom, and the top, just so I don't accidentally create constraints when I'm drawing. I'm going to make a box around this top corner here. And now I'll switch to my dimension tool to position it where I'd like. Now keep in mind, I've already practiced this tutorial, I've already made this box in real life, so I already know what I want my dimensions to be. If you were doing this from scratch, you could play around and figure out exactly what you want them to be and then enter your dimensions. I want the overhang to be very minimal, just 1/32 of an inch. And then I want this height from the top to the bottom to be the thickness of our lid. So I'll just do thickness, hit enter again. The piece that's above the lid, right now I want that to be a consistent 1/4 of an inch regardless of the thickness of the material. And then from here to here, let's use another formula. I'll do thickness plus 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch. All right, let's zoom in here. Now I need the extra piece that we have, so I'll go back to my rectangle tool by hitting R, click, and then I'll dimension just this piece from here the whole way out to the bottom, and we'll make that 1 inch across. Now, at any point, hit escape again, at any point you can rearrange where you have these dimensions showing up just so they make sense and they are readable for when you're looking at your sketch. All right, the last piece I want to do is form kind of an arc on this lid, and I want to do that using my belt sander out in the shop, which I happen to know has a 2.5 inch diameter end on the belt sander. So I'm going to use the arc, center point arc, click out here somewhere, and then kind of start on this line and bring it up to the top. Now I ensured I didn't click on the center point so it wouldn't stay anchored to the center point there. So hit the dimension tool and click on the line to set the radius, and so half of 2.5 inches is going to be 1 1/4. That might move it where I don't want it, and that's fine. I'll click on the dot and then the outside of my thumb grip. We'll say we want this to be 0.8125. Finally, from the dot here to the top of the box, I want that to be 1.125 inches. All right, so this is starting to form the curve that we want. The last piece I want is this just to go straight at the end. So I'll hit L for my line tool, draw a line across, hit escape, and then select both the line and the arc, come over to my constraints palette and choose tangent, which will make sure the curve intersects the line at just the right point. We'll stop our sketch, turn the box back on, and now we can see what we have in play here. Let's go ahead and make the cut across the lid and the back and the sides by hitting Q. Click on the piece that's overlapping, start to slide, and then we can just choose, instead of making it be the box width, we can actually just say all, and it will cut through the entire object. Hit OK. We know the drill. Let's turn our sketch back on. We can actually name this thumb grip so we don't lose track of it. Turn our sketch back on, hit Q again, and select the pieces that make up our thumb grip. Now we'll learn something new. Over here, instead of just direction one side, we'll choose 2 sides. We want it to come towards us 1/32 of an inch, the same overhang that we designed into the sketch. And then for distance, we'll say to object. And then just click on the dot on the far corner here, and it will make it the whole width of our box. And then we can add another 1/32 of an inch on the other side. Switch it to new component and click OK. I'll turn off my sketch. I don't need that anymore. And then I want to isolate this thumb grip. So first I'll name it. But you can isolate anything by right-clicking on it over here and then just choosing Isolate from the menu. Now we can work with this by itself. To make inside and outside curves in Fusion, we use a tool called Fillet. So I'm going to come down to Fillet, under Modify, and I'm going to choose this line and this line over here. So I'll start by clicking there and over here. As I start to drag, you see the shape of our thumb grip forming. So I'll type 1/2 inch and hit Enter. I'll hit F, click this line and start to see how this sizes. All right. We'll use 1/4 inch as our fillet there. You see how it kind of joined the two curves together. One more down at the bottom. This one we will do 1/32 of an inch again. And then the final fillet I want is going to be the whole way around the thumb grip. So I'll hit F, and as I select that, because these all have curves, it connects the whole way around our grip. We can type 1/32, hit Enter, and our thumb grip has been modeled. Okay, with the thumb grip modeled, we can move on to making the splines. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, go ahead and turn off our thumb grip, and we'll create a new 2-point rectangle. We'll click this bottom plane, and then we're going to do something we haven't done before. We're going to turn on another sketch, zoom out a little bit here, and I'm going to use the top left corner of the box and then the right bottom corner of the box and click to create this 2-point rectangle. And those larger dots indicate that they are going to be anchored to this other sketch. So if anything changes on this sketch, it will automatically resize our new sketch. So I can turn that off. And at this point, I want to mirror what we're about to do. So I need some lines to mirror around. So I'll hit L to switch to our line tool. And then I can come over here and click construction, or just hit X to switch to a construction line. And a construction line behaves differently, and I'll show you the difference here. So I'm going to click from the top down to the bottom. And then I'm going to draw the side to side knot with a construction line, just so you can see how this works. So I click. Now when I hit escape and hover, you see that these are treated as two separate boxes. But if I come back to the line, convert it to a construction line, now you see this is treated as one large box, which is really what I'm looking for. Okay, we'll hit L for our line tool one more time, and we'll draw in here, we're going to draw the top profile of our spline. So we'll click once, and then before I click the second time, I'm going to hit Tab and make this 45 degrees. Hit Tab one more time. You'll see the lock icon appears. That means this is going to stay at 45 degrees. So now all I have to do is click on the other line when it locks there. So let's hit D, click on this point on the corner, and we'll tell this to be 0.375. And actually, this seems like a variable we may want to change later, so let's go ahead and set up some variables for our splines. We'll have a spline width, which will be that one we just did, 0.375. We'll need a spline thickness in a minute, spline thickness. So we'll do 0.125. A lot of table saw blades, full kerf blades are 1/8 of an inch. And then we'll do a spline offset, which will be how far up and down from the box edges should the spline be. And in this case, we'll do a 1/2 inch. All right, we have our 3 new variables. We'll hit OK. Now, we have this. We need to double click and switch this to our variable. So spline width. Go to Sketch and choose Mirror from Sketch. Click on the line I want to mirror, and don't click yet. You want to switch over here to Mirror Line, and then click on the line to mirror across. You'll see it's created one over here as a preview. I click OK. It becomes part of the sketch. We'll do the same thing again. This time we'll select both lines, come down to our middle, click Mirror Line, hit OK, and now you'll see we actually have those on the bottom as well. So we can stop our sketch, click Home to center this. All right, now let's create our splines. Press Pull Tool, you know the drill by now. Select the faces you want to create. We're going to do one thing a little differently this time. Let me zoom in here so you can see it. We're going to choose the distance as spline thickness. But instead of just coming up from the line, we want it to be symmetrical on either side of the line. And we don't want it to be twice the height of our thickness, so we'll change it from 1/2 length to whole length. Great, this is perfect. So now when we choose Offset Plane and we choose Spline Offset, it will be 1/2 inch from the center of the spline off the bottom of our box. We'll choose New Component for our splines, and we've got 4 of our 8 splines that we need. All right, let's change the sketch name to Splines, turn it back on. We'll do the same thing again, selecting the 4 corners, and this time we want to make the cuts into our boxes. So we'll choose Start, instead of Profile Plane or Offset, we'll use From Object and click a dot on the bottom of our previous spline, and then we'll choose To Object as our extent and select a dot on the top. Once we turn our box on, it will switch to cut. It will know not to cut through the previous splines we created. And when we hit OK, we now have splines and cuts. I'll turn off my sketch and then turn off the splines so you can see the cuts that we've made into the box. Great, halfway there. Now we just need to create more of them. So let me name this Splines. And we're going to use another cool feature in Fusion, and we're going to choose Create Pattern, Pattern on Path. Now, pattern can be faces, bodies, features, or components, and we want features because these things down here are features. So we'll click on the one that created our body and the one that created the cut. Finally, we'll choose a path, and I could choose this one here, but I'm going to move in a little bit and choose the full height path. All right. And then for distance, this one's interesting. We'll have to create another formula. So if we do box depth minus, we want minus our offset times 2 because the original splines were created offset from our original sketch. So we'll do spline offset times 2, and you'll see a little preview, like a little ghosted preview of what's going to happen here. So let's drop it from 3 to 2. And then I'll switch, it may be on adjust when you create this. You want it to be on identical, so it cuts it correctly. So we'll hit OK. So now if we turn our splines off, we have 8 cuts around the box. And later we can go back and do other things like, for instance, add another spline in the middle to see what that would look like. And that lets us easily adjust how many we want, how we want them grouped, etc. All right, looking good so far. Let's go back. I'm going to undo that. Let's turn on our thumb grip, top and bottom. All right, we are coming really far here. Now, if you've been bored with working with a gray box, at this point, let's quickly add some materials. In the third video, I'll go into much more about choosing the materials, applying them, rendering, choosing the best grain for the box, etc. So just hit A to pull up your appearance. And then down here in the library, if you've never downloaded any of them before, just search for 3D, and that will come up with all the different woods that you can choose from, and there's a lot of them there. If they have a download button, you'll need to click that before you can slide it into the model like I'm about to do. Now I already have some downloaded, so let's go ahead and let's find some of those. All right, let's do cherry. I'll drag that down to the thumb grip. And I can also drag it over here if I'd like to. And then let's choose maple. Let's go with a quilted semi-gloss for the lid. We'll drop it over here for the splines, and then for the bottom of the box. Finally, let's do walnut. Walnut for the box itself. Great, now this is starting to look more like the box that we're looking for. Last step is we want to make the lid open and close. So to do this, we're going to go to Assemble and choose Rigid Group. The first thing we want to do is glue all the pieces of the box together. So we'll choose the box, the bottom, not the top or the thumb grip, but the splines. So the box, the bottom, and the splines, and hit OK. Now when I go to move those all move together. We'll do that again. We'll do Rigid Group. This time we'll choose the top and the thumb grip. We'll hit OK. Now those two pieces are glued together, and they'll move together. And the last piece we want is this lid to slide. So we'll choose that one more time, Assemble, and this time we'll choose an as-built joint. We'll click on the top, and we'll just join it to the side. I have it set to slider. Yours might be set to rigid, and so you'll need to switch it to slider. Then finally, we'll select a position. So I want to choose this long side of the box lid, and then place for that little handle to go. And I'll put it down here near our thumb grip. You get a preview of what you're going to get, hit OK. So we're getting a little bit better. If I move this lid, I can open the box, but I can also over-close it, and that's not what we want. So the last piece we want to do is come into our joints here and modify this slider by clicking the Edit Joint Limits. Let's click this button here to animate, see what it's doing, and then you can choose, and sometimes depending on how you set it up, it will be minimum or maximum. In this case, it's maximum. So I hit maximum, and now it won't close any further than the box. So I hit OK. And now if I try to move this joint, the lid will not overclose. The last thing you want to do, so you don't have to keep finding the joint and double-clicking on it like I've been doing here, is you want to ground the box. So if you right-click on the box, and on the top of this menu, choose Ground. Now with the box grounded, this means that we can easily open and close the lid just by clicking and dragging and moving it to a new position. This makes it super easy to work with as you're rendering and getting things ready to go. All right, that is it for part 2. Thanks so much for watching. Be on the lookout for part 3, where I dive deeper into material selection, how to choose the wood grain, and my favorite part, photorealistic rendering. If you're not already, please consider subscribing and hit that bell to be notified when I upload my next video. Until next time, I'll see you later.